Hello, everybody. Wade Needham here with PWMania.com, and I have with me two-time WWE Hall of Famer, five-time world champion, and one of the greatest to ever enter the squared circle, Booker T. Booker T, how are you doing?
Grand, man. I'm grand. Living my best life.
That's awesome, man. That's all we can ask for, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Every day it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I wanted to address the big elephant in the industry. What was your initial reaction to the news of Endeavor's intended acquisition of the WWE?
It's not an elephant to me, man. It's just business. Business as usual, man. The wrestling business is very, very unpredictable. I didn't see the sale happening as quick as it did. I thought it was something that was, perhaps, could happen or would happen, but I thought, man, that's a monster, for it to happen as quickly as it did. I was surprised by that, but I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think with Endeavor, it's only going to get bigger as far as the lights, camera, the action. I think that's what WWE is really, really all about. I think we got a piece of that, just a little bit of what perhaps is on the horizon at WrestleMania day one and day two. Everybody's interest was so elaborate and so different. It felt like a real show. You know what I mean? And it always felt like that, but it felt bigger. It felt, had a little bit of kick to it. So I think it's going to be overall good for all the guys.
Has there been like any changes backstage with the morale or anything since the news broke?
Not from my perspective. I haven't seen any changes at all as far as talent goes. But I work at NXT most of the time. I'm dealing with the younger guys, and I don't think, they are, too in tune to what's going on from the business aspect of it.
If any, what kind of crossovers do you think could potentially happen with WWE and UFC under the Endeavor umbrella?
Well, I don't see a whole lot of crossover in the ring or in the octagon per se or anything like that. But as far as having special guests, as far as having certain angles built around, I mean, we've had guys, from my era like Kevin Federline. He had nothing to do with, combat, but these guys actual have combat experience. So I think it would lend a little bit of credibility if they were to actually do something. It's just a matter of how they do it and what they're going to do.
Absolutely. It should be interesting, especially, Brock Lesnar being on the roster and former champion of both brands. You possibly see Brock Lesnar going back to UFC doing anything?
I mean, if it was 5 years ago, I would say yeah. But Brock, and the thing is, I wouldn't put anything past Brock Lesnar because he's a beast. He's a freak of nature. Can he go back and make a run in the heavyweight division in the UFC? Of course he could. So I'm not saying that or anything. The thing is going to be, does Brock Lesnar have the want to put his body through that one more time? Because that is not something that's easily done. Brock Lesnar had that killer instinct, that killer mentality when he did make his runs in the UFC, and I just wonder, you know, as he made, so much money to where, he didn't have to have that killer instinct anymore. I think that's what it's going to come down to if, Brock wants to do it.
Right on. Going back real quick to the question I asked you a little while ago about if any changes, if you noticed or anything. One change that I think the world has noticed, and that is the appearance of Mr. McMahon. What are your thoughts on his new look?
You know what I say, if you don't change with the times will pass you by. Okay. That's just the way I look at life. We could have gone through our whole life, seeing that same image of Vince McMahon. But I remember about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I started growing a beard. My daughter was like, "Dad, don't do it, Dad, please, please don't do it." And then now she was just talking to me a couple of days ago, and she was looking at some old pictures of me, and she goes, "Dad, please, Dad, don't ever shave your beard." So I think changing with the times is something that we all got to do, and I think Vince McMahon, still being a guy that's evolving in life, still wants to evolve, as far as his appearance as well.
Moving along, how has your experience been working commentary for the NXT brand?
I love it. You know what I mean? I know it's a lot of fun for me. I know, the what was it? I can't think. I don't know. One of these publications voted me the worst commentator
Wow.
for the year, and I say I get it, I understand it. That's someone who has probably never heard commentary from a hip perspective, from a shucky ducky quack quack perspective. And I get it, but what I bring to the table is excitement, entertainment. Um, if you're not having fun watching this show, you're gonna turn the channel and go watch something else. Wrestling is not MMA, it's not boxing. It is to be embellished. I got, took a bump last night, because JCJ come flying over the table over on me. The fans love that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm living my best life. I'm so content being in NXT, watching the next level of superstars, go on this journey and have a hand print in their journey as well, being able to mentor them and try to guide them through this journey because it's rough, especially when you ain't got somebody on your side pushing for you and trying to tell you the do's and don'ts of this business. So for me, I'm loving being in NXT, watching these young guys progression of this wrestling business.
That's awesome. That's incredible. As a play-by-play commentator myself on the indie level here in SoCal, what advice could you give me like to improve skills on the mic and whatnot?
Sound bites, man. Sound bites. Right. For me, I write everything down. The delivery is everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like a wrestling match. You're trying to kill time. You're trying to tell a story. So it's all intricate detail, which for me, I didn't learn it, on my own. I had some good people working with me. Right now, I got the best guy in the business working with me, Vic Joseph. I really don't think I could do my job properly if I didn't have Vic, coaching me and guiding me along, this journey that I'm on right now. I try not to, step on his toes because I know he's the lead guy. He's the guy that's directing all the traffic. And in order for me to look good, I got to make him look good. So it's a team effort, just like a wrestling match. The two guys in the ring cannot do it without the referee. And the guys, even having the referee, they can't do it without the fans. So it's a team effort, just trying to get that stuff out there and just know that having that job.
One thing I've always loved about the wrestling business, it's like a finely tuned watch. Every single component works together, and if one thing's out of whack, the whole thing is out of whack.
I say that in my wrestling school. I say, if we have one loose link in the chain, we have to take it out and get rid of it. We row in the same direction at the same time, at the same pace to get to our destination. So that's what this business is truly all about.
Absolutely. There's a new season of WWE Most Wanted Treasures on A&E kicking off on April 30th at 9, 8 Central. What can we expect from this upcoming season?
Man, a triple threat with myself and Lita and Mick Foley going out finding some of the most iconic memorabilia from some of the biggest stars that ever walked this planet here in the WWE. It's really, really awesome for me to have, this job to be able to go out and, search for, Mick Foley's iconic, memorabilia, Bret the Hitman Hearts, Roddy Piper, Macho Man Savage, Goldberg, Kurt Angle, kicking off the season with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who I got a connection with as well. It's really, really awesome process. To be able to find this stuff is one thing, but to be able to deliver it to the fans that had those moments in time, those memories that are ingrained and seared in their memories. I think that's what this business is truly all about, and I think what WWE Most Wanted Treasures is all about is taking those fans back to those moments, just like we did at the Rumble. Everything was displayed, and for the fans to be able to come by and actually see it, not just actually see it, but to actually touch it, go. Good God, man, those stories never die. And that's what's so cool about this show, Treasures, bringing those stories back, to the fans one more time.
What would be the Holy Grail item in your career that you would like to obtain?
You know, the television championship kicked my career off. It was something that made me feel like I could actually do it. And I was born to actually do this. I was like, wow, okay, man, this is so special. But when I won the world championship, from Jeff Jarrett, that world title, it had a bend in the top, it was worn by Ric Flair. And I was like, man, I did it, man. I'm here, those two pieces for me would be the pieces that would literally put a stamp on everything that I did in my wrestling career. The television championship, we haven't been able to find that. We looked high and low all over for that championship, couldn't find it. I think Dallas Page may have the WCW Heavyweight Championship, and the thing is, I am the true rightful owner of that championship. I was the one who closed WCW down as the United States champion and the World Heavyweight Champion. So I just would hope that whoever have that championship would find it in their heart to donate it to the rightful owner, which is a man by the name of Booker T.
Right on. Hopefully that you can get that title, both of them. Booker, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, sir, you have been a true inspiration to me and to a lot of my friends. Growing up watching professional wrestling, as a kid, I had admiration for the larger than life characters and whatnot, but I credit you and your time at WCW when I was a teenager to truly appreciate the in-ring skills, to appreciate the actual aspects of the business that normally I wouldn't have been able to, especially at that age. Your matches in WCW, your best of 7 that you've had, your matches with Rick Martel, teaming up with your brother. I want to thank you so much for everything that you have done in this business. Thank you.
You know what, man? I really appreciate hearing that. I don't hear that too often. I mean, a lot of people forgot about how good of a wrestler I was because I was a great entertainer. I was good at making people laugh. At the same time, I could joke around and be a jokester. But I was always in the middle of that ring. I was always about going out there and shocking and amazing the crowd, giving the crowd something that they have never seen before. And I always say I wasn't the greatest wrestler or anything like that, but I was a really, really good storyteller, and execution was something that was really detailed for me to be able to go out there. I always want to make a real tear well up in one's eye and it rolled down the cheek. Those were the moments I was looking for. So I really appreciate, someone like yourself mentioning my wrestling accolades, man, because I was a pretty good wrestler too, man. I was pretty good. I always used to tell those guys in the locker room, man, I'm top 5 anywhere in the world. They hated me for it. I was a young guy, I was braggadocious, but I always wanted to go out in the middle of that ring and back it up and make the fans feel something. I was a kid who loved movies, and I love those karate movies. And if I left the theater not, chopping somebody or making sounds, it wasn't a good movie. And I always felt like I wanted to leave the fans feeling that same way at the end of a Booker T match. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. Booker, thank you so much for your time. I do greatly appreciate this. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Get ready for Most Wanted Treasures, guys. Premiere Sunday, April 30th, 9 Eastern. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Shuggy, duggy, quack, quack. And we out.